So, how do you see serialization affecting the industry?
So I think, how is serialization going to affect the industry? Right now we see that pharmaceutical companies and other stakeholders are working very diligently towards the February 2019 deadline here in Europe. However, as much as they're investing in serialization, I think the real payoff is not going to come from the compliance aspect, but for the solutions and services that are enabled by serialization. And what I mean by that is, if we look at the healthcare system, it's struggling really with information flow. Pharma companies are struggling with engaging patients. So serialization is really a foundation to start solving some of these problems.
And what about the industry and collaborations? Like, what are the next steps?
Right, so I think serialization, and in particular EUFMD, to me this is a landmark project because in order to put EUFMD in action, it required stakeholders from across the supply chain. So pharmaceutical manufacturers, generics manufacturers, wholesalers, hospitals, pharmacies, regulators, all working together towards a common goal. And the governance structure in place and the information flow that's now been enabled by serialization is really going to, I believe, change the way things operate. However, it's going to require each stakeholder to take advantage of that information flow and actually build solutions and services around it. We can no longer afford to live in a world of siloed data. And so I really believe it's important for stakeholders not only to, of course, work together to improve patient safety, but collaborate further. This is just one step in making sure the right information flow is there to ensure the safety of products, but we need to go beyond that. We need to use that information to identify products correctly, to make sure the right product gets into the right patient at the right time. All of these supply chain efficiencies are really enabled merely by applying this number on a box, uploading it to a common place, and actually having all stakeholders networked so that they can take advantage of that information. It's all about transparency.
And where do you see the patients in all of this?
Yeah, so we have to, it's very easy to forget if we're working in silos that there is, the reason we are doing this is for patient safety. And one thing we see is not only is this about patient safety in terms of having a genuine medication as opposed to a falsified one, but this is actually about helping patients achieve better outcomes. How do we do that? Well, we know most patients actually are very much empowered today with their mobile devices. They are searching for information about their condition, about their symptoms online. So how can we help them further? Well, one very simple way is for them to be able to get product usage information at the scan of their phone. So right now we're going to have pharmacists, for reasons of compliance, scanning the medication. We can also have patients absorbing knowledge, videos put out by the manufacturer. That information can be added to other data sources, so not only does the patient receive education, we can see how their behavior has perhaps changed as a result of that. All of this is really aimed at helping the patient have a better outcome for him or herself. It's about better quality of life. And it seems, almost like a leap of faith that a serial number will somehow accomplish this. But if you look at the larger issue, sometimes patients taking multiple medications, they might not even realize what the medication is called or what it's for. By having this unique, unequivocal identifier, they are empowered then to start taking more control over their medications and feeding their information back to their healthcare professional. Pharma companies benefit as well because they can make sure that the patient is not only receiving the genuine drug, but they can make sure that they are getting the information needed to administer that drug. Maybe it's the special use of an inhaler, or maybe it's about taking this pill with certain foods or without certain foods. And if a manufacturer, if a pharma company can engage the patient like that, I think it's a win-win situation.
So, this is a difficult question, but do you see a time scale on this?
I would hope that, like any innovation, we're going to see some early adopters, and I'm going to say that's going to be even 6 months to a year after EUFMD goes into force. And then once we start looking at those small successes and the benefits of product identification and this information flow, we're going to start seeing more and more of these applications come up.